Hey guys, how's it going? It's the Crypto Lark here. Today we're going to be talking about Tron. They are a highly ambitious project looking to create Web 4.0. I know what you're thinking. It seems like we just got Web 3.0 yesterday, but they're moving on to the next phase already. We're going to be looking at what exactly they're trying to do. All of that and more after a quick shout out to everyone who has been hitting that like button, and of course everybody who has been subscribing to the channel. If you are a new subscriber, welcome very much. If you're an old subscriber, you're awesome. Thank you for sticking around. And if you're not a subscriber yet, hit that button up to stay up to date with all of the latest in the crypto space. Furthermore, this is not professional financial advice. This is just a dude talking about cryptocurrencies on the internet. Let's get into it. Now, if you actually have a look here and try to think about what Tron does, it's important to first understand what the problem is that Tron is trying to solve. And this is a problem that we've been talking about a lot recently. And that is that the internet has become way too centralized. Major corporations receive the majority of the views on the internet. They also have massive control over what happens. And this is a huge problem. There is censorship, there is demonetization of independent thought, all of this and more. It is a monstrous leviathan. It's taking over the show. Now, projects like Tron and others are fighting back against that. Thank goodness, because Web 3.0 is turning into a scary place. Let's bring on Web 4.0. Now, what are they proposing to do? Well, first is to give you ownership of your data, decentralize the internet. That is, of course, the main idea behind really most of the blockchain projects that we're seeing. Now, you're also going to have proportional profits from the Tron ecosystem. Well, isn't that an interesting idea? Instead of the big corporations getting all the profits, you'll get a proportion of them. Now, Tron is going to be run as a non-profit foundation. Again, that's something we're seeing a lot of recently. These non-profits coming in and saying, hey, you know what? We're going to start doing business differently. And that is absolutely awesome. Very interesting. And of course, really focusing that control of creation on the people, not on the capitals of control, as they like to call them. That might be the Facebooks, the YouTubes, and all these different centers where we have too much power focused, and we're really moving towards a situation where we are almost turning into sort of a tech oligarchy globally, and that's not a good thing. We do need to move away from that, and blockchain projects are moving us in the right direction. So, some of the key features of Tron: data liberation, free, uncontrolled data, uploaded, stored, spread, nice stuff. The enabling of digital content, creating a content ecosystem where you can have that content stored. Personalized ICOs, we're going to talk about that in just a second. And finally, of course, the infrastructure where distributed digital assets will be able to be easily exchanged. So that's things like gaming, for example, game systems. Now this here is quite interesting, the Tron 20 token. So this will let you be an individual content owner and have your own tokens. And this is not new. We have seen this on other blockchains. Waves, for example, you can issue a Waves token very easily. NEM as well, you can set up a token in like a minute or two. So it's very easy to issue tokens. They're going to try to create an ecosystem whereby those have some kind of value. They're calling them Tron 20 tokens. We'll see if they can succeed in having those really create value and hold value, but it's certainly an interesting idea to be a content owner and have your own ICO, so to speak. So I do like it. It is ambitious without a doubt. Now, the Tron tokens themselves, of course, are a medium of exchange. They work as a digital currency in that sense, but you're going to be able to lock them up to get Tron power. And that is really cool because that's going to give you things like voting rights and, you know, higher status within the ecosystem. So that's all cool stuff. We like higher status in the ecosystem, don't we? Now, it's a really ambitious project, and it's being done by a really ambitious dude. This handsome gentleman here, Justin Sun, he is the man behind it. Now, he is a very interesting character. He's won all kinds of interesting awards, 30 under 30 2015 China, 30 under 30 2017 Forbes Asia. He founded this thing called PIVX app. We're going to look at that in a second. And most interestingly, he is the protege of Jack Ma, the founder of Alibaba Group. Very, very, very interesting character to have behind the Tron project. Obviously, these guys know what's going on. They see the incredible value in this digital ecosystem. This can be a very, very big thing. Certainly the right players, the right money. Now this is the front page here of the PIVX, however you say that, app. It is, of course, a social app. You can see a picture of how it actually looks on your phone here. So that's really cool. Now this has 10 million users currently. They are in the process of moving Tron onto that. So you're going to have 10 million users who are going to be able to exchange Tron back and forth via that digital app. Now, of course, the majority of those users are in China, so we're going to have to see actually how that plays out with the Tron token being used via the app. Where will that fall in as far as a regulatory function? We'll have to wait and see. That being said, we got to keep it real. China is not going to be anti-digital currencies and anti-blockchain and all that stuff forever. They are going to come back, and when they do, a company like Tron is there ready to go. So that's very interesting. Here's a little update as well. They are, of course, hiring more people all the time. It's a very serious project, very well funded. If you actually look a little farther down here, so it's not just Justin, although he is, of course, what everyone likes to talk about when they actually look at this, but you've actually got a big team of developers here. Really a lot of people, definitely all the boxes ticked as far as it comes to developing this project, and a lot of good advisors and good investors. Big names here, people that really see the value in the decentralization of the internet and the freedom of the internet, and of setting up these ecosystems that are going to let people thrive independently while creating value for the token, but also creating value for themselves. So very interesting stuff there. Now, one common misconception is that Tim Berners-Lee, the, of course, inventor of the World Wide Web, is, sitting on a team or something like that, or something like this specifically. It's not quite like that, no. They are followers of Tim Berners-Lee, but Tim Berners-Lee is not directly involved with the project. I know people see the name and they think, oh, yeah, that's pretty exciting. Tim Berners-Lee is in this. It's not quite like that. So that's a little misconception I think a lot of people see and, perhaps misconstrue, but they are trying to follow in that legacy of having a decentralized internet that is an asset for humanity instead of just a tool to make profits for the elites, or the new elites, of course, the tech oligarchs we were mentioning earlier. Very, very interesting, of course. Now, if you have a look at the roadmap, this is a long-term project here. We can see here we've got dates for the different stages: Exodus, Odyssey, Great Voyage, Apollo, Star Trek, and Eternity. Eternity taking us all the way up to 2025. Very forward thinking. 8 years ahead is certainly a long time in crypto land, without a doubt. Now, what are those different phases and what do they mean? Exodus is the first stage. Now, this is peer-to-peer storage, distribution, distributed content. Moving on to Odyssey, this is when different economic incentives are really being brought to the forefront. Now, if we move on to the next step here, they talk a lot about that particular step. Apollo. So with Apollo, They want to move forward where all the content producers are able to issue their own tokens. This goes back to that Tron 20 token that we were talking about. So that is something that's coming in a few years. It's not an immediate function of Tron. Farther on, we have steps 4 and 5, Star Trek and Eternity, that are really focused on digital gaming primarily. So obviously that's a huge market as well. A lot of different things they're trying to do here, a lot of different ideas of how to decentralize the internet, how to provide value for content creators, and it's a very long-term project. Now, they have just partnered with the guys over at Gifto. Now, if you saw my ICO review on that, Gifto, they are doing digital gifting, virtual gifting on the blockchain. Very cool stuff. Of course, the gamification of digital gifts is really, really hot right now. We see UpLive doing it. We see YouNow doing it. You know, to a lesser extent, other projects are doing it as well. So definitely a very hot thing at the moment. And they have also partnered with MLG Blockchain, helping them develop that global community, trying to introduce Tron to the West, to get people familiar. What is Tron? How does it work? What are they trying to do? Like I said, it is a very exciting, ambitious project, but most people simply don't understand what the heck they're trying to do. So hopefully this review has given you a bit more light into what Tron is trying to do, what they're trying to bring forward. It's very ambitious, as mentioned. Now, let's talk about numbers. One thing that I know is going to put a lot of people off is this 100 billion total supply. I know there are a lot of you guys out there who look and those, that's it, project written off, no farther discussion needed. That will, you know, kill any market, etc., etc. I tend not to think like that, to be honest. Now, I know it certainly looks a lot more exciting psychologically when you see a coin that's worth, you know, $1 and it goes up to $100. So that feels a lot cooler than getting a coin that's a third of a cent and it goes up to 10 cents. It's not quite as exciting. I get it. I really do. But nevertheless, there is big value to be had here. Currently, the market cap is at $334 million. Not a shy amount by any means. Volume is really steady at the moment. $20 million in the last 24 hours at the time of recording this video, of course. That's impressive. I definitely think this will be a multi-billion-dollar project moving forward as they roll out the functionality of Tron. Remember, we are going to have 10 million Paywo app users being introduced to Tron very, very soon. So that is some super exciting stuff also. Now, again, keep that in mind. You will not be seeing a $50 Tron. It's just not going to happen. But 10-cent Tron in the long run, yeah, sure, absolutely. 20-cent Tron, sure. That is some pretty big gains as far as cryptos are concerned. Remember, you got to think about overall percentages. Now, also, if you want to go pick some Tron up, Korean won pairings, probably a lot of what is pushing that demand right now. Of course, 45% of the volume. Basically, whatever Korea touches explodes. You can also grab some over on Binance, probably the two best places to grab it. Binance or hit BTC at the moment, or if you're in Korea, hit over to CoinNest and grab some there as well. Anyway, guys, let me know what you think about this project in the comment section down below. Long live the blockchain, and peace out till next time.